We're going to take another look at the Euro Canadian and see if it'll be right this time. Hang around. Hi, this is Tim from TradingStrategyGuides.com. Just so we're on the same page, the joke in the intro is that I spend a lot of time telling you guys that the market is always right? So we know Euro Canadian will get it right this time, but will we be on board when it does? That's the question. Today's trade pick is a trading range on the currency pair Euro Canadian dollar. We'll have a look at that shortly, but first we've got a few active trades to look at. Later on, today's trading maxim, Happy Hot Friday. Did I tell you North Texas has been in the triple Fahrenheit digits this week? That's just under 40 degrees for you Celsius folks. It would probably kill ordinary people. Remember to click the subscribe button and hit that bell so you won't miss any of these great trade setups. Let's take a look at the actives. Well, Tesla looks like it's winding up in this triangle right here. That is a wacky looking triangle, isn't it? More often than not, this being a continuation triangle and all, this will continue up from here, but it could break either way. I've pulled the trailing stop up here with the PSAR to 1363.76, locking in 465.66, which is over 10 times the original profit target. But since this is consolidating right here, I'm going to give it a chance to break one way or another. So I am not going to move the stop with the PSAR anymore until this triangle breaks. Okay? When this triangle breaks, then I'll start trailing stops again. But I want to give this thing a chance to break to the upside. And if we continue to try to keep up with the PSAR, it's going to be right up in that consolidation in another day or two. That's not going to give it a chance to finish the consolidation. So worst case scenario here, it's going to break down and hit our 10 times or plus 10 times stop here. So that's not a huge deal, but it could break to the upside. And I would like to give it the chance to do that. E-mini 2000 index popped right up here on Wednesday, took us out for a full stop. That happens sometimes. I'm done with the Russell for now. Silver hit our first target right here. And I've closed half the position for profit, moved the stop to break even on the second half, and now looks like we're getting a little bit of sideways here, but that's okay. Now we wait for the parabolic SAR to get up here above the break even level so we can start trailing the stops here. The Euro New Zealand dollar setup from last Friday triggered a buy right here on Tuesday. I got long at 174.55-ish. Stop loss is 172.46-ish, and my first target is 175.94-ish. Now it's just going sideways, but I'm still on it. And lastly, the Palladium setup from Monday triggered Thursday, and I just entered this as I am recording this video on Thursday evening. I just bought it ahead of the close at 1992.71. My stop is 1889.83. First target is 2061.30. Now we wait. And that is it for the active trades. Let's take a look at today's pick. Today we're looking at a trading range on the Euro Canadian dollar daily chart that takes us back to April-ish. Right in here. Just to be sure everyone understands completely, a trading range is a consolidation with a strong support level like this one at 150.50 and a strong resistance level like this one at 155.40. Price just sort of bangs back and forth between these levels until it eventually explodes out of the range in one direction or the other. I'll take a break of a trading range in either direction. And as a nice confirmation of the consolidation, we have a decline in volume and volatility right down here. Volatility is the amount of daily movement of the price, and I measure it with the average true range, or ATR, which shows the average length of the last 14 candles. And here's the trade plan. we will either buy a daily candle close above the range or above 155.40, or we will sell a daily candle close below the range or below 150.50. On the breaking candle, to enter a full size position, we want to see the volume bar reach up to the volume average right here. If it doesn't quite reach the average but does reach 75% of the average, we'll take a half size position to reduce risk. You can calculate the percentage by dividing this volume number by this volume average, and you should get at least 0.75. If you don't get at least 0.75, I suggest you stand aside on the trade. The stop loss will be 1.5 times the ATR, and your first target 1 times the ATR. So what that means is, let's say this breaks to the upside and it closes right here, just ahead of the close. You will buy. You'll look at the ATR right here. You'll multiply that by 1.5. You'll measure that distance below the entry, and that'll be your stop loss. You'll measure 1 ATR above the entry, and that'll be your first target. And of course, that'll be just the opposite if it breaks to the downside. I apologize for my drawing today, but my trackball is sticky because of the heat. If after entering the trade, we get a candle close back inside the range here, we'll take the loss right then and not wait for it to hit the stop loss. Our intention is that a breakout of the pattern should be explosive and hit our target fairly quickly. If the momentum goes away, we want to shut the trade down without taking a full stop if possible. When the price hits our first target, we'll close half the position for profit, set the stop loss to break even on the remainder. We will then follow stops as price moves in our direction until the market takes us out. Typically, I do this using 2 positions. The first position has a stop loss and a take profit. That position will close automatically when the first target is hit. The second position will only have a stop loss, and that's the position that will be allowed to run. When the first target is hit, we will have to manually move our stop loss up to break even on the second position. I will only risk about 2% of my account on each trade. And that's today's setup on the Euro-Canadian dollar currency pair. Remember, my intent here is to tell you how I manage these trades. If you've already got a good trade management plan, use it. Things that work for me may not work for you. You have to understand your own mind to find the best strategies for your trading. And speaking of understanding your own mind, that's my intent for the trading maxims. The maxims help me control my emotional impulses and keep me on the straight and narrow path. A maxim is a general truth, fundamental principle, rule of conduct, or a proverbial saying. The purpose of my maxims is to motivate me to discipline in trading as well as other areas of my life. I suggest you start your own list of maxims, things that you can say to yourself while you're trading or doing life to make sure that you always do the right thing. Feel free to borrow from my list. And today, we're going to jump right back a little ways for Tim's trading maxim number 56. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. And this quote comes from the famous Thomas A. Edison. How many times do I got to tell you this? Don't ever give up. Your success could easily be on the other side of continuing. Let's make it easy. Just commit to trying one more time after this time. And that reminds me of a story. But just about everything reminds me of a story, right? I guess when you get old like me, you've got lots of stories to tell. But I digress. I've spent a lot of my life backpacking. I started in my teens. I still try to do it today, although it's been a while. Anyway, one winter back in my 20s, my best backpacking buddy and I headed up to an obscure part of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park for a backpacking trip. On our way there, it started snowing. Well, I didn't have a Jeep at the time, and the road into the area was kind of treacherous. But we didn't want to give up on the trip, so we parked beside the road and decided to walk into the area. Well, the more we walked, the harder it snowed until we were trudging through knee-deep snow. Well, I knew it was going to be a long hike, but I didn't expect to be pushing through all that snow. And we didn't have skis or snowshoes or anything like that. You know, back in the 70s, weather prediction wasn't quite as accurate as it is today. Anyway, to drill in on my point, we were nearing the end of the hike, but neither of us wanted to continue. So we committed to hiking to the next stand of trees. When we would reach that, we'd stop for a minute and then commit to pushing through to the very next stand of trees, and so on and so on. No, we didn't quit. We wanted to quit. We almost quit, but we didn't quit. And we made it to our campsite. Of course, by that time, we didn't feel like setting up camp, but that's a story for another day. Oh, and we didn't have to hike out. We hitched a ride in the park ranger's Jeep a couple of days later. Anyway, that was a long way of saying never give up. I hope I didn't bore anybody. Remember our Euro-Canadian dollar trade plan for today. We're going to buy a daily candle close above the range or above 155.40, or sell a daily candle close below the range or below 150.50. If the volume is not quite average, go half size as long as it's at least 75% of the average. Your stop loss is 1.5 times the ATR, and your first target is 1 times the ATR. And remember to click the link below to the trade management video for more details. Also remember to sign up for my free Trading Picks email list so you don't miss any of these great picks. I send out about 2 or 3 trading picks a week from all different markets, and you'll get to see them first. And the best thing is, they're free. I'll put the link below the video. Be sure to come back to Trading Strategy Guide's YouTube channel every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time for my new videos. Don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have. I'll either answer your question right in the comments or in a training video, or both. And remember, the only stupid question is the unasked one. And don't miss the next installment of the Trading Education series on Wednesday, when I'll talk more about the TradingView trading platform. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, have a fun weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.